Hi everyone, how are you? I hope all of you are well. Our lecture today is about modal auxiliary verbs. We have in English three main classes of verbs. We have auxiliary verbs and modal auxiliary verbs and full verbs. بالإنجليزية عندنا ثلاث أصناف أو ثلاث أنواع من الفيربات الأفعال سوري. Number 1 الأفعال المساعدة والمودال auxiliary verbs وال full verbs اللي هي الأفعال الكاملة. Now what about modal auxiliary verbs اللي عندنا مثل كان could, may, might, shall, should, would, etc. What's about them? They have their own meanings but they help the other verbs. How is that? يعني for example he can swim. He can swim. We can notice نقدر نلاحظ إنه can with swim, so we have two verbs. But what is the difference? Swim is the full verbs, okay, full verbs, sorry, while can is the modal auxiliary verbs. So it has meaning. For example, I can swim يعني شنو أنا I'm able to swim إنه سباحة، okay، أنا أقدر أسبح, so it shows ability. So هذا إنه هي تساعد الفول verb و it has its meaning وعندها المعنى مالتها. Okay, they have several main characteristics. There is no s in the third person singular. For example يعني he can swim, ما نقدر نقول he can swims, so ما بال singular. Okay, لأنه إحنا عندنا ال subject singular. We don't have we don't have do or does or don't or doesn't in the question or negative. يعني من نريد نسوي سؤال ما نقول I do shall go or something like shall we go, okay, or do you shall go. No, there is nothing like this. فنقدر نقول شنو shall we go, so just swapping يعني تغيير. ونفس الشيء بالنيجاتيف no does or don't or doesn't or didn't. Okay, they are followed by infinitive without to, يعني الفعل مجرد ما بي to. The exception is ought to. For example, they ought to go now, so this is the exception. They don't have really past forms or infinitives or ing. Other verbs used instead. So يعني بالماضي احنا نقدر نستخدم تقريبا مرات might not بالنيجاتيف because they don't have past forms or infinitives. Number 6 can be used with perfect infinitives to refer to the past. As we said, you might have drowned, so this shows what? Probability. Now, modal auxiliary verbs, they have range of meaning. شنو معناتها؟ لهم معاني عدة. Most of them are the most one that used a probability. يعني أكثر من كل modal auxiliary verbs واحد ممكن يشير لل probability و something else. Okay, so probability the most used meaning for them. Okay, probability we have obligation, we have permission, we have request. We will talk about them one by one. Now what's about probability? Probability we can use will or won't for predicting the future actions or guess to be true about the present. So for example, I will see you later, so this is what probable thing. Something will probably happen, or maybe not. What's about must or can't? Must used to assert what we infer to conclude to be the most logical or rational. يعني شنو must use طبعا pay attention to must because it can be used for probability and it can be used for obligation. So للprobability نستخدمها لما نحس انه هذا الشيء المنطقي او التأويل المنطقي للحدث للسالفة كلها. For example, you must be joking. I simply don't believe you. شو معناته؟ المين point إنه هو I simply don't believe you. إن هو ما يصدقه because you must be joking. So this is probable thing. The negative for this use is can't. She can't have a 10-year-old daughter. يعني نفس المعنى، هم probable إنه فد واحد ما مصدق إنه هي عندها طفلة عمرها 10 سنين. Now what's about should? Should also used to predict things or expect things to happen. بس عندنا شنو هو everything has gone according to a plan. شنو يعني؟ كل شيء مخطط إله. For example, our guest should be here soon. So هو متوقع ومتأكد إنه تقريبا هم حيجون. Okay. May and might can be used for also probability or possibility that something will happen. Okay. For example, we may go to Greece this year. Might can be used, perhaps, maybe. Could can be used, has similar meaning to might. The negative of could is might not. For example, you might not be right. Couldn't, about to, likely, all of them can be used for what? Probability. Now, what's about ability? Ability بمعناتها القابلية أو المقدرة. Mostly can be used for what? With the can be able to. Okay. الباس مالتها can be used with was able to or managed to, not could. Could ما used for can in the past. يعني past ability can be used with was able to or managed to. Okay. Now, what's about advice? Advice can be used, we can use should and ought to for mild obligation or advice. What does mean mild obligation? يعني إلزامية متوسطة، يعني مو قوية. Okay, mild. Or advice. For example, you should go to bed. يعني هاي نصيحة، بس شنو بيها إلزام، بس إلزام قليل. Had better to give strong advice، بس شنو okay. had better to give a strong advice or to tell people what to do, otherwise something bad will happen. يعني شنو إذا أنت ما سويت هذا الشيء أكثر شيء مو زين حيصير، راح توقع بمشكلة. Okay, that's why it is strong advice. Now, what's about obligation? Obligation, it means what? يعني فشي إلزامي مثل ما قلنا قبل. It represented by must and have to. Must and have to, the most used for obligation. For example, you must go now, I must go now. شنو الفرق بيناتهم؟ express, both of them express strong obligation. بس شنو الفرق؟ must strong obligation from inside the speaker، يعني أنت تأمر نفسك، يعني rarely used by other people، يعني غالبا ما تستخدم ما يستخدمها من الآخرين. just your mom maybe، المدير مالتك، يعني هيجي. have to لا، strong obligation from outside the speaker. What does this mean؟ يعني تجي منين؟ من خارج السبيكر نفسه، تجي مثلا من الجامعة، تجي من اللو، الكورت، المحكمة، الحكومة. okay. mustn't it means absence or absence of obligation، يعني العكس تماما مال obligation. have got can be used for obligation، are required to، are supposed to، need to, all of them can be used to express what? obligation. Now, what's about permission? permission يعني شنو تعرف؟ السماح بشيء، أو إنه أطلب السماح to do something. It can be used may, can، could، can and can't، can، could، allow to in the past. permission in the past. be not permitted to, be not allowed to, don't allow me, don't let me. all of these can be used for permission. For example, may I ask you a question? So this is شنو؟ ده تطلب السماح إنه حتى تحكي. Number 6, meaning number 6, willingness and refusals. willingness and refusals. What does it mean? الاستعدادية والرفض. will can be used to express willingness. For example, I will help you. So what does this mean? أنا مستعد حتى أساعدك. بينما إذا أنت ما عاجبك شيء I want to help you. So يعني شنو؟ أنا أرفض إنه أساعدك. Shall when can be used in questions. For example, shall I go now? Okay, shall I go now? Wouldn't used within the past. Used within the past. Okay. What's about requests? Request can be used, can, could, will, would, used to express requests. request تعرفوها طلب, or to make efforts اللي هي عروض. For example, request, can I go now? Or I can help you. No, this is offer. I can help you. This is offer. أنت إذا تعرض مساعدة على أحد. بينما إذا تقول له can I use your phone? This is what request from other people. That's it. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, you can just write a comment under the lecture. And you can find this lecture in your book in the end of the book. Okay. Thank you very much.